welcome back to my kitchen. It's Lily again, and today's project is Hamantaschen. Now, I don't know about you, but my history with Hamantaschen has been questionable. I think I finally got it down to an art where they don't all explode. So let me show you what I do. Now, the dough recipe is very questionable. Everyone has their favorite. I love the cream cheese recipe dough, but it makes it dairy, and it's not always good for everybody to serve after dinner. So I stick with the oil-based recipe. I use one of the recipes in second helpings. It's not a problem, but I fidget with it. Whenever I use a recipe for cookies, I always add pure vanilla extract, no matter what it says in the recipe. And I always add either the rind of an orange or a lemon. It really perks up the flavor of the dough. And it's very pretty. You can't see it on camera now, but in all my Hamantaschen, you'll have little tiny flecks of orange. Now the fillings. Fillings are very traditional, usually, but as most of you know, I'm not the most traditional person. Now I do buy the fillings from Montreal Kosher. This one here that I'm doing now is prune filling. Their fillings are just delicious. I've tried making them myself, and they were not better than theirs, so I buy theirs. I'm always happy to do the easier thing, as long as it comes out well. I do other things, though, that are very non-traditional, and I'll show you what I mean. Here my dough is between an 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch thick. I like them a little bit thicker like this because you get a real cookie feeling for your Hamantaschen. When you make them thinner, you have more of a skin feeling, and they're not really Hamantaschen according to my history with my mother and what I grew up with. So I like them very cookie-ish. This here, I'm now adding, this is the poppy seed filling, which I also got from Montreal Kosher, because his poppy seed filling is just delicious. Now, I was talking to one of the ladies at Shul who said she could never remember how to fold them. But it's true, your first Hamantaschen of the year is usually hard. I use circles because I find circles much easier than squares. You take the circle, you pinch together two sides like this, and then you bring up the third side and pinch it on either side of the first pinch. Make sure you pinch well. This is a very greasy, fat dough, as you can see from my hand, so it will stick. You can also use an egg wash. An egg wash will help it stick. You can do the edges however you like. You know that the Hamantaschen is after Haman's hat, so you can sort of fancy up the edges a little bit if you like. If not, you can go traditional. This is something new for me. This is a Rocher Ferrero. Now, once you use this, it will be a dairy Hamantaschen. But I figure it can't be bad. These are the most delicious chocolates. So I'm going to put a whole Rocher Ferrero in there. And I'm going to pinch it like I pinched the others. And we'll see how it comes out. It should melt beautifully into the dough. And it should be delicious. And I'll show you later my finished Hamantaschen. You can see the chocolate in the middle. So it'll retain that chocolate and nut business, so you'll know what you're eating. We can also, another favorite, my granddaughter loves chocolate-covered raisins. So I put in a few chocolate-covered raisins. Now, depending on the chocolate, you don't know if it turns dairy or if it's still parve. When you do it this way, try to have one of the chocolate cherries stuck, like really sitting up in the middle, even if you have to add it after. Because that way when it comes out of the oven, it'll be really cool. Be very pretty. There we go. I also have chocolate chips. You can use chocolate chips with nuts. You can use chocolate chips with jam. I just use chocolate with chocolate because in my house, chocolate goes with everything. But chocolate with strawberry jam is good. Chocolate with orange marmalade is good, particularly if you're using orange rind in your jam, in your dough, because the orange marmalade is not sweet, the chocolate is. The two together, I mean orange and chocolate are just wonderful together. There we go. Now I'll do another one with prune. It's unfortunate we're not live, so you can't ask me any questions, but let me see if I can imagine what you'd ask me. How long do you bake them? You bake them at about 350 for about 25 or 30 minutes till they're brown. Not too brown, just a light golden brown. Now you can go thinner with your dough if you like a thinner dough. If you like a thinner, non-cookie type Hamantash, more like a skin type Hamantash. Let me show you what I mean. These Hamantashen I baked earlier. Here you can see the chocolate chips on the inside. This one here has salted caramel chocolate in it. This is prune. Excuse me. This is poppy seed, and you see I have some very little ones. If you're having a party and you want to have delicate Hamantashen, you just use a smaller cutter. You do it exactly the same way. You can see I have bigger ones and smaller ones. I have some that exploded a little bit, but they'll be equally delicious, not to worry. See some of the little ones. When you're rolling your dough too thin, there's always a chance that they will explode on the side. But it's not a big problem because they're still delicious. They may not look as nice, but they're still delicious. I'm going to continue. And then I have another packet of dough and I'll show you how to roll it out. Hamantashen are not just for Purim. Most of the bakeries have them all the time now because they're a fan favorite. But I only make them at Purim because it's a very traditional thing. We like to follow tradition in our house. There we go. Now when you make the dough, you're always going to put it in the fridge for about a half hour before. Now I don't even have to use flour here because I'm using a parchment paper. Parchment paper is a wonderful invention. I have granite counters. I could bake directly on my counters, but this is much easier. It doesn't stick at all. And cleanup is a breeze. Now I do have a silicone rolling pin, and I have to tell you, as lovely as it is and as fancy as it looks, this is my old standard favorite. I'm not sure if this was my mother's or not. I've had it for so long that I really can't remember, but I really do prefer a wooden. If you want to do s'mores Hamantashen, it's very easy. You just get the little tiny marshmallows. They are available kosher. You put in a little piece of chocolate, milk chocolate, a marshmallow, and then you can break up a graham wafer and put that in. And there you have s'mores Hamantashen. I have to tell you, they are quite delicious. A little bit sweet, but you know, who doesn't like sweet? And I don't know if you notice, I put in as much filling as I possibly can. I don't like, as much as I love a good cookie, I think a Hamantash should have as much filling as you can inside of it, so that every bite of your Hamantash, you get some filling. There we go. Now I'm going to roll this out a little more. Because it's so rich in oil, I can go a little thinner. Remember, you really should put your dough in the fridge for half an hour, just so it's a little stiffer when you're handling it. Right now, because of the lights and everything, my dough is very soft, so I have to be very careful when I'm handling it. if you put it in the fridge for half an hour, it will be much easier. And you just keep rolling until you don't have any left. And when you have a little piece left at the end, if you have grandchildren, you let them make cookies. And if you don't have grandchildren, you can make cookies. I never throw away this dough because this dough, even plain by itself when you bake it, is just delicious. Let's close that up. You can use chocolate covered peanuts. You can use almonds. Actually, I was planning on doing honey, boiled honey with pecans, and I just never got there. I just got too busy. I apologize. But you can boil honey with crushed up pecans, and that's another delicious filling. You can use any kind of a thick jam. Don't use any jam that doesn't have too much fruit in it because it'll just run all over the place. And you don't want to do that. You really don't want runny Hamantaschen. I'm just admiring the beautiful orange flecks in my dough. I wish you could see it, but if you, let me show you how I do that. Hold on, I'm going to show you a very important piece of kitchen equipment that I use, I would say, almost every day. And that is a rasper. I use this to grate the orange peel or the lemon peel. It makes it very, very fine, so you don't get a piece in your mouth, but the flavor and the smell, the aroma is just fabulous. It's called a microplane. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool. I've had this one 20, 30 years for sure, and it's still in perfect condition. And I actually use it, I would say, almost every day for something. Because I'm always adding, my daughter uses it to grate garlic into things. She doesn't like to use a garlic press, so when she's here, she uses it for garlic. So really, it's quite, you can use it for anything. I'm going to use the last Rocher Ferrero because I have a feeling this is going to be a favorite in this house. The dough is very, very soft now because it's been out for a while. So remember that it's much easier if you have your dough in the fridge for half an hour. I'm going to put this on my second. I have another tray over here for my Hamantaschen. And I don't know how else to explain this to you. Now remember, you can either do an egg wash or not. These here do have an egg wash on them, and they're very shiny and very pretty. This is not traditional to me. To me, it has to be, they are not shiny. They are very sugar cookie-ish. But if you're worried that they're going to open, you can paint them with an egg wash, and that will pretty much assure you that they'll stay shut. Put this over here. Now you can, after you take them out of the oven and let them cool, you can reuse your paper over and over because you're not greasing the pan or anything. You just take the Hamantasch off and put the new ones on, and it isn't a problem. So you can reuse your parchment paper over and over, and then at the end of the day you can throw it away. I wouldn't reuse the paper from rolling the dough because that's raw. But this is what we do. I'm going to just do these last two, and then I'm going to break open a couple of Hamantaschen and taste them, because honestly, I made these earlier. I haven't tasted them yet. So I could be just telling you a story. I could be lying through my teeth. I have no idea if they're any good. So let's try one. I'll finish this one first. Oh, here we go. There we go. Fold this up. I can't tell you how wonderful this dough is to work with. It just, I mean, you've noticed I'm not using any flour. It's sticking beautifully. It looks just gorgeous. Okay, so let us try since I like poppy seed, I'm pretty sure this is poppy seed. Oh yeah, it's poppy seed. Oh yeah. This is wonderful. You can taste on the back of your tongue the orange rind. And it's so good. I'm going to step behind the camera and give Billy to taste. Not fair, I'm sitting here eating. But it's really good. And it's got that nice cookie texture. Just delicious. Anybody needs the recipe, we will post the recipe with the video. And if you can't get it, just call the show and I'll get it to you. It's not a problem. Or get in touch with me on Facebook, Lili Yesovitch at Facebook. And that's it. So I'm going to finish off my hamantaschen. Good eating, everybody. Enjoy. See you next time.